This Premier League Matchday 3 Picks edition of the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog. Underdog has a brand new offer for new customers. Play just $5 and get $50 in bonus funds when you use our code PLGP. Welcome, everybody, to the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Malcolm Bamford, coming to you from Newcastle upon Tyne in the northeast of England. Today is Thursday, August the 28th. We are here to have a little sniff around some of the midweek action from various competitions, but mainly get stuck into the Premier League Matchday 3 action, which takes place over this weekend, starting on Saturday lunchtime, I think. Joining me from somewhere in Nottinghamshire is Mr. Barry Penaluna. Hello, Barry. How the hell are you?
Evening. I thought you were going to say, but mainly to get stuck into Man United and Ruben Amorim after last night. But apparently not. Apparently the priority is still the Premier League Week 3 picks.
I can imagine that Manchester United might just crop up once or twice. You might have noticed there, Barry, I've been trying to fix the furniture on my face, and I accidentally got my Ali G glasses out first, which is why, ever so briefly, I did look like a German DJ, as Lee points out, but I put them away. Everything turned yellow, but now I've sorted it out properly, and I've got the right Gregory Pecs on, because I can see. We mentioned last Sunday, Barry, when we did the show, that it had been an interesting start without being massively exciting. And then it suddenly turned massively exciting this week for all the horrible, calamitous reasons that it always turns horribly exciting, which is Newcastle United against Liverpool. I'm sure people want us to touch on that. I'm sure Callum wants us to touch on that, the dickhead. He was in the MLB chat straight away on Tuesday doing that podcast, just trying to needle me on a subject that had nothing to do with anybody else. I mean, I don't know what you want us to say about this. I can't remember, Baz, you might have to put me right here. Since we started this show, I didn't do the show with you last week, so I never got to do my usual speech about how Newcastle v Liverpool is my worst day of the year, because I'm just sitting there waiting for the terrible thing to happen.
No, Malcolm. You did your speech on Sunday, because we've done this show on Sunday.
Oh, shit. What?
And actually, you said you were really looking forward to it. That was the problem. You had a completely opposite attitude to what you normally
No, you're right, actually.
Yeah.
Because I think since we started this show, we've had the Fabio Carvalho 98th minute fiasco. We've had the Nick Pope red card fiasco when he got banned. We had no keeper for the cup final. We've had the Darwin Núñez 94th minute when Virgil van Dijk got sent off fiasco. And now we've followed it up with the Anthony Gordon red card, magnificent performance, world's best ever fight back, greatest team ever. To lose to a kid we took the piss out of for balancing on his left leg in the 101st minute fiasco. And that's all. That's a lifetime worth of pain that we've managed to squeeze into the last 4 seasons, Barry. So I go over it pretty quick because
that's exactly the reason why I didn't get very excited when we scored the equaliser. I sat there and Helen sat next to me wondering why I was being so quiet. I've seen how this all ends. I've seen it before. We've scored too early here. And I just knew what was coming. And again, didn't really react to the goal because it felt so inevitable.
I did tell Betty to sit down. We stood up in chair, but I did say, you still know, the second year running, I've had to say to her, you know we're going to get beat, don't you? And sure enough. So, yeah, that was it. I got over it pretty quick just because it fucking always happens. And then the other thing that did make me get over it even better was Man United getting beat. I still think it's possible that I enjoy Man United losing more than I enjoy Newcastle United winning. and very, very much enjoyed them just getting absolutely... They didn't just get beat, Baz. You were at the cricket, weren't you? And I messaged you and said, they could be 3 or 4-0 down here. And then when the perfectly legitimate third goal got disallowed, that was it. I knew they were going to come back. Absolutely knew they were going to come back. I actually picked up my laptop to put a bet on Harry Maguire scoring in like the 86th minute. And I thought, don't be a dickhead. I put it back down again. So I didn't even see the price. I didn't open it. But I was going to, and then I didn't. And then, of course, 90 seconds later, we scored. So the whole thing was going tits up until the penalty shootout, and it was just absolutely glorious. So well done, Grimsby. Up the fish. Ruben Amorim having a little game of kickoff. I noticed in the dugout. That made me laugh an incredible amount. All the memes, I said to Betty, within 10 seconds, that's going to be a meme. And then she was showing me him sitting playing Guess Who, Battleships, DJing, one of the Operation. That was one of my favourites. The kids' game Operation. Little memes of him doing that. So I enjoyed all of that. It was absolutely tremendous, Baz. So up the fish. And I think that's about all my crack, really, Baz, before we I'll go into the midweek picks and see how we got on, because we did okay there across the rest of the League Cup. But yeah, how was the cricket, and did you get back in time for the penalties?
Yeah, cricket was good. It was really went right down to the wire. So yeah, I had a good afternoon. Stayed dry. Strange one, I didn't have much to drink. Normally I go there and have an absolute skinful. I had a couple of gin and tonics, and that was me. And I was home for just before 10 o'clock, just in time to watch the 24 penalties. So yeah, I had a good night, and it was finished off nicely with watching Man United come a cropper in those pens.
I looked for you on the telly, Baz, at the cricket a lot. You went both games, didn't you? The women's match and then the men's match.
I must have been on there. Like, I was literally front row, so not hard to spot.
The women's match just appeared to be a soft-hitting competition. Like, all they did, one woman, and again, I'm not being a sexist pig, shut up, but one woman would run and trundle a little half-tracker, and the other woman would just knock it into the leg side and they'd take a single. And that's what happened 100 times.
And they shortened the boundary for the women as well, so they have a much shorter boundary. And they still don't clear it very often.
But no, you did all right. So there you go. The chat, let's see who is in here. I'll go from back to front. That might be gorgeous George Bradley, who's just joined us. If you remember, do you remember singing George, Barry? Do you know? Tell me. No. George was at Sheffield Wednesday with us that day.
I know George. Yeah, I do know George.
There you go. Yeah.
I didn't know the surname, so I couldn't have put the name to the face.
I'm not even sure I knew his surname till just then, I'll be honest with you. He's just Big Daft George, is who he is. But he's complimenting you on your disappearing figure, which is very right. Serial has joined us as well. Smudger is in the chat. Andy Williams is currently sitting in Barbados with as much rum punch as you can drink for $30, which is impressive. Lenny Ward has joined us, the Backus family. Welcome along. Callum is here. You can shut up. Stu Padzel is asking what limey means. And I should know this, but I don't. So if any of our American...
I thought limey was an Australian phrase for an Englishman.
Right.
But I might be wrong.
Yeah, but I don't know why, that's all.
All right. Well, I'll find out.
Well, yeah, we'll just ask the listeners to find out. Bob D's here as well. And I think that's everyone. So if you are in the chat, by all means, say hello, stick your head above the parapet. The League Cup picks were okay.
Do you want me to tell you what a limey is? It is. Go on, then. AI tells me it's a slang term predominantly from North America, referring to a British person and historically a British sailor. And the name originates from the 19th century practice. British sailors were provided with lime or lemon juice to prevent scurvy. So there you go.
Okay, there you go. The constant edutainment of this show, Barry, just rolls on. The free roll football contest is back. Free to enter every NFL game against the spread. $3,000 to first place. $4,000 if you're a Patreon. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/free roll. And there's 25% off everything in the merch store. Promo code is football. Make sure to check out the Premier League Gambling Podcast merch. And finally, the NFL Survivor Contest. $100 entry, winner takes all at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/survivor. League Cup, I went 2-2, Baz. I felt like I was unfortunate. So I made a little bit of profit because I took Wolves to beat West Ham at 23-17 thereabouts. Sheffield Wednesday on the handicap against Leeds. Fucking hell, Leeds were a shambles. And then I took Huddersfield to win at Sunderland. So I feel like I get an honourable mention for it's a winning bet that I haven't won on, because Huddersfield, I mean, the game was a draw, and then Huddersfield won on penalties. So Sunderland went out the cup before we even got into it. So that made me laugh. And the other one I lost on Bournemouth Brentford. So 2 winners, an honourable mention, but a little bit of profit pass across the 4. How did you do?
Yeah, I felt watching the scores, it felt like a better night than it was, particularly for you when you see Sheffield qualifying and Huddersfield qualifying, 2 teams that you fancied as dogs.
One even money winner out of that.
You sort of steered in the right direction in terms of where the upsets might have been, which is good in it. One winner from 3 for me. I took both teams to score no in the Burnley game, and both teams to score hit quite early. I got the goals in the Wrexham game over 1.5. Over 2.5. There was plus money 11-10, and then Coventry let me down against Millwall. I needed a second Coventry goal, but that wasn't to be. So yeah, fairly average for me.
Joe Dollar's joined us. Joe, welcome along. Nice to have you. Finally, Newcastle chat, Barry. Nick Voltemade, probably. I mean, I know we've talked at great length all summer about Nick Voltemade. He's been the name on everybody's lips. Barry, highest profile striker currently in the game, making his way to St James's Park. Looking forward to seeing him. 42-goal Premier League season incoming. Just goes to show, Barry, that name has never once been mentioned by any account ever in the world.
Out of nowhere, wasn't it? I like it when it happens like that, because you know, you've got all these journalists who claim to know everything going on inside every club, and turns out sometimes they know nothing. It was the same when we signed Tonali. There's the odd one that occasionally sort of crops up out of nowhere. And yeah, I got a message through from brother tonight. Jamie messaged me saying apparently we've had a bid accepted for this bloke. And I was like, where's that come from? But reassuring that we've done something. I've looked at him on YouTube. Absolutely mint. He's going to be
he's tremendous.
Better than Sesko. His XG last year, Malcolm, he scored something like 12 goals against an XG of 11. So he's overperformed his XG. Now, if you look at someone like, say, Ep.301, for example, he scored something like 16 goals. His XG was 22. So he underperformed massively against it. So I think more efficient than Ep.301, probably much, much better than Ep.301. Voldemort is going to be an absolute star, isn't he? Him out of Harry Potter, is that him?
That's him, the big geezer. He's absolutely massive as well, Baz, which I'm all for. We'll throw Andy aboard. He wants to mention Wrexham. Wrexham won away from home in the cup the other night. Did they beat Preston? Yeah. Fuck knows who they beat. But yeah, they won. So congratulations, Wrexham. March on into the next round. Right, okay. Proper old school 10-game Premier League slate. Ackers, Locks, Dogs, corned beef pie, steak and Stilton, slow roller, and Data Dave will make an appearance as well.
I want to give a quick shout, actually, Mark, to my bloody cards bet last week. A little unfortunate because, well, I say unfortunate, actually. It was a winner because I did say to take the doubles. But we had a 30-1 card treble. Started off early on with Romero in the first game. That hit. Elliot Anderson let us down on the Saturday. On the Sunday, it must have been. And then Bruno Guimaraes was the last one on the Monday, who could have had about 4 yellow cards, probably.
Yeah.
So, yeah, 2 out of 3. And Elliot Anderson being the one to let us down was a little bit of a disappointment, particularly because on the same day, Lukic got his. I took Lukic the week before, and I was so tempted to go back in for Lukic, but just didn't want to repeat the same thing again. But yeah, 2 out of 3. We've got to double up, so it would have paid about 6-1 or something like that.
Yeah, dancing around it, Baz. You'll hit one.
Yeah.
Reminder for everyone to get their predictions in the Predict Addict League. Do not forget to do that. State of play, we've got a couple of regulars here. Tied first. Callum Schultz is up there with Lee Smith, Michael Hawthorne and Graham Walker. Harry Doherty and the Bacchus family sitting tied in third. Danny Midler, the Mackham, sitting in fourth. Joe Dollar sitting tied fourth. Barry Penaluna tied sixth. I am tied fourth above you. All the way down to the likes of Captain Insano. Andy Williams tied ninth. That's slightly disappointing. So get your picks in. There will be a monthly prize, which I think closes at the end of this month. So we will kick off on Saturday lunchtime, 12:30, which is 7:30 Eastern time. Game between Chelsea and Fulham. Chelsea are 1-2 favourites, minus 200. The draw is 7-2, and Fulham are out at 9-2 plus 450. Fulham have drifted. Actually, Fulham have been nipped in a little bit, quarter of a point here. Chelsea are plenty short enough for me here at 1-2. They had a home draw in a very similar game, a comparison game against Crystal Palace on opening day. They then went to West Ham and smashed them. I'm not sure about that form. It's really hard to assess. Still struggling to get a tuner out of Liam Delap, although João Pedro is looking good up front there. Two decent draws for Fulham. Come from behind twice against Brighton and Manchester United. They're just a very solid Premier League team. I find them a tough out. Waiting on news of the Palmer injury. There's a couple of injuries like later on we need to tackle, like Saka, Odegaard. Cole Palmer's one I'm not sure about. I think he's more likely to miss this than play. Fulham on the handicap was just too short, 3-5, minus 166. So I'm going to nudge it up to Fulham +1, +1.5. So we'll get the push at +1. That's 4-5, minus 125, because I think Fulham can run them close here. We took Palace to do it opening day and we're correct. So I'm staying with that system, Baz. I'll take Fulham +1, +1.5 at 4-5, Barry.
Yeah, no bother. Just check your phone there, Mal. I looked at a similar pick, the Fulham +1, but I moved away from it in the end. Comprehensive win for Chelsea last week over West Ham, followed up what was an underwhelming week 1 draw against Palace. Cole Palmer, I think you've mentioned, I think he will be injured. I expect he will miss out this week. I don't think they're expecting it to be any much longer than that, possibly back after the international break. As we know, they've got plenty of attacking options for Chelsea, so I don't think it'll be a massive issue if Palmer's missing. I don't think he's been particularly great to start the season anyway. But Fulham have been quite happy with how they started the season. They're unbeaten, back-to-back draws against Man United and Brighton, and coming from behind in both, so showing a bit of resilience. The West Ham win for Chelsea has to be tempered a little bit with just how bad West Ham have been so far. West Ham have absolutely stunk the place out. Fulham, competitive enough for me to give them a chance here. 9-2 isn't the worst underdog on the card this weekend. I haven't taken the win though, and as I say, I was tempted with the pick you've gone for, but I'm happy enough just to take it to be competitive here and at least grab a goal. Both teams to score is going to be my pick here at 4-5. So Chelsea v Fulham, both teams to score at 4-5.
Okay, do not forget we've got our very special, unique sponsor here. We are brought to you by Daily Spins, your destination for crypto sports betting. The website's really good. Love all the football lines they've got on there. dailyspins.com/sports. That's dailyspins.com/sports. Second game on the card, 3 o'clock kickoffs we have. I heard you count these, Barry, last week. That made me laugh a lot while I was dropping off to sleep full of cocktails. 1, 2, 3, 4 3 o'clock kickoffs. Starting with Manchester United taking on Burnley. Man United are 3-10, minus 333. The draw is 17-4, plus 425. Burnley 17-2, plus 850. Barry, I assume you're steaming into Manchester United here, are you?
Oh, Man United 4-11. It's an absolute gift, isn't it? Yep. Especially, I mean, Ruben Amorim, after losing to Arsenal, said he proved that game that they could beat anyone in the Premier League. In his defence, he never mentioned League Two.
So, he mentioned League Two. You can't put that on him, Baz, because he never said it.
Committing to that. So, last night doesn't count. He's actually, someone asked earlier on what price he is to be the first manager to leave. We talked about that last week. Potter's the favourite. Nuno Espirito Santo was second favourite because of some unrest behind the scenes at Forest. But Amorim is into second favourite now, 13-8. So what's that? Plus 172, something like that. So Amorim now second favourite for to be next one out. I mean, it's a very similar situation to Ten Hag last year. he's got to be on a very short leash in it. If he struggles in this one and maybe he's one or two others, it could be the end of it. But anyway, if you fancy Man United at 4-11 here, you definitely need your head checked. The squad is undoubtedly stronger this season with the addition they've made, but none of it seems to matter. It doesn't matter what they do in the transfer market, because they went out last year and spent 200 million on their defence and all told us they were going to be back. This year, they told us they were going to be back because they'd spent 200 million on the attack. And it just, as I say, none of it seems to matter. They've just got this propensity to shit the bed when they're under any kind of pressure. And they become under pressure really, really quickly in games. I can't work out exactly what the issue is. The squad not capable of carrying out the instructions he's given them? Do they just not like the tactics so they don't bother trying to follow his instructions? That seemed to be what he was suggesting last night, is that they're just not listening to him and they're just done what they wanted when they were out there. Either way, I think, you can spend 200 million on your attack, but if the midfield, defence, and particularly the goalkeeper remain unchanged, then you've definitely still got problems. They've won only 7 of 29 league games now under Amorim, and I think 3 of those came against Leicester and Ipswich. So they've actually only won against 4 games against teams who are in this current division. But it does show they can get a result in those sort of games. Wins against Leicester and Ipswich sort of factors into this one. Still doesn't mean I'd want to back them at 4-11. In fact, would I even want to back them if they were even money? Probably not. There's no sensible way you can get involved in Man United at these prices. Burnley were well beaten in week 1. They bounced back with a comfortable win over Sunderland last week. And I mentioned before, both teams to score no had been the play for them, for me. It's not where I've gone here, but it's a pick that would help me if it comes in, because I'm just going to take the unders here. Both Man United's games have gone under 2.5 so far. Burnley are 1-1. They obviously lost 3-0 on the first day. But Burnley good enough defensively to keep Man United quiet. And as I say, I don't see Burnley hitting too many goals. The unders is plus money. I think it's a decent price. So yeah, Man United v Burnley under 2.5 goals at 6-5 for me.
Yeah, this was an ugly game to handicap because Manchester United don't appeal in any kind of handicap market at all. They have shown flashes in both games, in both league games. You know what I mean? I wouldn't completely write them off. I made these notes before. They didn't show any flashes against Grimsby Town last night. Ultimately, though, they've scored 1 own goal in 2 games. That's what they've got to show for it. And the manager continually gets everything wrong. Everything wrong. I watched Burnley at Sunderland last week. A massive lack of quality on both sides. A remotely comparable game possibly was the 3-0 defeat at Spurs. But then Spurs have been decent. Spurs have looked all right. Manchester United haven't. You have been pushing the BTTS no, Baz, in the Burnley games. There's a big gap, though, in between that and the under 2.5 goals. So I landed exactly on the same pick, Baz. I wasn't going to change the system just for the hell of it. So you wanted both teams to score no. I don't see either team winning 3-0. So I'm going to take the under 2.5 goals at 11-10 plus 110. 3 o'clock kickoff is Sunderland taking on Brentford. Market movers here. Sunderland are on the drift. They were 7-4 plus 175. They are out to 19-10. Plus 190 now, the Mackhams. Draws 9-4 plus 225. Brentford 6-4, nipped in a little bit. Plus 145, Brentford, hovering just under the 6-4 mark. Are Sunderland just going to play dog shit teams every week, by the way? What's the fixture list like? Can we play someone? I want to see them get shellacked off someone decent. So this is another team that it's the West Ham form line makes it tricky to analyse, because they beat West Ham, and you want to say, oh, are they a capable Premier League team? Well, you can't say that having beat West Ham, because West Ham, last year we had teams that didn't count. Southampton and Leicester didn't count. West Ham currently don't count, so you can't put that. Then you throw Brentford putting up a surprise win against Villa last week, and it's all a little bit confusing, Baz. I think on a pure form line, the Brentford win against Villa is the best form on offer. And I still think fading the promoted teams against the established Premier League teams will be profitable. I watched Brentford the other night at Bournemouth, and I know it's a League Cup game. I actually thought they played really well. I like the defenders, the big lads at the back. Christopher Ayer is a good player, being linked to the move to Wolfsburg tonight, actually. Sepp van den Berg was very good. Ethan Pinnock, the other big lad, and the right back who came on. They brought some menu on Bournemouth, and Brentford countered that with Michael Kiyode, a really good player right back. So I was quite impressed with Brentford the other night. Dan Ballard went off injured for Sunderland last week. He's important. Looks like 8 weeks, although I don't think he's going to need to see a sturgeon. But we'll have to see. I'm going to take Brentford, Barry, at 6-4 plus 150.
Sorry, just scrolling back to my thing. Yeah, both sides with a mixed start, one decent win, one loss each. And I found this one quite a tricky one to go for, really. Not sure yet what either of these teams are going to be this season. And the first few weeks haven't really told me much because it's been a bit hit and miss. Nothing in the form lines either that gave me any real steers in the goals market either. So all I did here was look at the strength of the victories they've had and look at a similar approach to the two defeats. I think Brentford's win over Villa trumps Sunderland's win over West Ham. And I think Brentford's defeat to Forest is less of a concern than Sunderland's defeat to Burnley. And for that reason, I think Brentford are rightfully slight favourites here. And I think they're worth a bet at around 6-4. So I've taken Brentford to beat Sunderland at 6-4.
Okay, team ride on the bees, Barry. We move on to Tottenham against Bournemouth. I need to tell you about mybookie.ag. Your place to bet on football and everything else. $100,000 NFL Super Contest is live. $15 to entry. And if you buy two, you get a third one free. Tons of locations. Crypto accepted. Mybookie.ag is the place for a 100% bet back bonus up to $500 for new customers. Mybookie.ag. Promo code PLGP. And Rhythm are getting right stuck into football season as well. Really good on the player props last year. 15-8 on Josh Allen, passing props. You've got MLB, WNBA, golf, college football's live on there too. So go and start building your models for NFL Week 1. That is Sports Gambling Podcast /Rhythm. 3 o'clock on Saturday, we carry on with Tottenham Hotspur against Bournemouth. Spurs are 13-20, minus 153. 11-4 the draw, plus 275. Bournemouth 15-4, plus 375, Barry.
Yeah, Spurs obviously look good so far. One of just 3 teams who have won all of their games. Don't think this one would be easy. Bournemouth have been competitive. They were really competitive against Liverpool on day one, and then picked up a win last week in a more of an expected win over Wolves last week. Spurs have looked solid defensively, but I think safe to say Bournemouth will give them a test on that front. We know Bournemouth won't sit back and try and keep things tight because their strengths at the moment lie purely at the other end of the pitch. So I can see quite an open game here. Spurs appealed to me initially at around 8-11, and I thought you could possibly take Spurs and tag on the over 1.5 to get them to a reasonable price. But then I found the both teams to score and over 2.5 was a decent enough price. Bearing in mind, it was really the difference between the prices. I think the B goals, the over 2.5 is 8-15, so nearly minus 200. 5-6, if you just want to take the over 2.5 and the BTTS, I think it's a fair enough price. And I do think Bournemouth will get involved and be the first team to put a goal past Spurs. So yeah, Bournemouth v Spurs. I'm going to take both teams to score on over 2.5 at 5-6.
This, Barry, is another team right. I've got the exact same pick. Interesting game. One of the more interesting games of the weekend. Back-to-back wins and a clean sheet for Tottenham. Looking a little bit better going forward. Richarlison's been in good form at the top end. Bournemouth gave a good account of themselves at Liverpool. And then picked up a home win at Wolves. Disappointed on Tuesday in the Cup, but did leave the bulk of their best players out. Evan Nielsen, Semenyo, etc. It looks wide open. Bournemouth winning wouldn't be a surprise because this looks very Spursy. Like they always go to Man City and win. They then had Burnley first game of the season, so not an easy form line to make. So Bournemouth winning wouldn't surprise me, but I do see this big and wide open. I think the Tottenham run of clean sheets is a slightly false economy. So I'll take the same as you, Baz. BTTS and over 2.5 is 5-6 at -120. Final 3 o'clock kickoff on Saturday is Wolverhampton Wanderers taking on Everton. Wolves are 6-4 +150. They've actually drifted to +162. So 13-8 now, Wolves in this one. The draw 23-10 and Everton 9-5 +180. Really tight game, this. Really tricky one to handicap. I still think there's better days ahead for Wolves. Like, I know they haven't been great, and some of the journos, there's that Nathan Judah that you follow, Baz, bloke you used to know, didn't you? I read a little bit of his stuff, and he's not particularly impressed with what's going on. I don't mind the manager, though, and I do think there's better days ahead for Wolves. It's hard to take Wolves as a favourite here after 2 defeats in the league and no goals. Now, they did knock over West Ham the other night, but we've already established West Ham, it doesn't count. Question marks still over lots of areas of their team, particularly Strand Larsen, who looks like he's knuckled down, looks like he might be staying there, particularly with Newcastle having signed a striker now. I thought Everton played well against Brighton. That was absolutely their calling card, that type of game. The goalkeeper and defender played hard. And they've got some good players going forward. Eelman and Jack Eilish, Dwight McGeal, all capable of getting a goal at the other end. It looks tight. It looks low scoring. But the books are onto that. The books are onto the low scoring angle. It's 4-6 for the under 2.5 goals. But I think Everton can nick this. I think they've just got enough quality at the top end of the pitch. They're going to mangle a 1-0. Everton 9-5 +180, Barry.
Yeah, I wasn't being taken in too much by Everton's win at home to Brighton. I said last week I was worried the whole occasion of the new stadium might just raise an effort from Everton, which made me reluctant to take Brighton last week. Brighton actually should have done better. They wasted a ton of chances. So I think Everton are another side where they've had one really bad result, one okay performance. Wolves are lost back-to-back, failed to score in 2 league games. Did score a couple against West Ham in the Cup this week, though. And my first thought here was to fade the goals. I just didn't fancy there being many goals in here at all, which is a fairly obvious conclusion to come to in Everton games generally. Everton have scored just 2 in their 2 games. Wolves haven't scored at all yet. Unders is short at 4-6. But I've gone back to what I mentioned earlier. It's the both teams to score no. I think it's a nice price. 10-11 for both teams to score no. It's hit in all 4 games that these two have been involved in so far. Both teams to score yet to hit for either team. And it's 3 for 3 for Everton if you include their cup game as well. So 5 games played. 3 games for Everton, 2 for Wolves that have finished both teams to score no. That's where I'll go. Both these have got potential for a shutout. Both teams to score no is 10-11 between Wolves and Everton.
Michael is our Everton fan and also quite shrewd when it comes to the cards. Has given out Wolf, the wing back for Wolves, to be booked at 11-4, saying that Jack Grealish will get him booked, which is a nice angle in, and Michael's pretty good at this sort of shit. So the wing back for Wolves, Wolf, to get a yellow card there at 11-4. Barry, it is time for the game that has got the majority of the Western Hemisphere talking. Kick-off, 0-0 the score. Barry has continued to turn the screw from the start of the game, but another corner came to nothing last time out. Me and Barry, it's my goal kick. So I'm going to take this goal kick from I5 for anyone playing along at home. I'm going to go the other way, actually. Yeah. Sorry, I'm going to I8. I'm going to the far side of my penalty area. And I'm going to play this motherfucker, Baz. That bad boy. Look, concentrate. I'm absolutely smashing this up the park with a 9-3-5. Okay. So it's Robin Bravo going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 3 that way into the feet of Untumbe Smith. And he's going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the furthest I've been forward all game. Right up to the edge of your box in the first touch of the game for my number 10, Wolfgang Vogel. Barry, the ball is in square F6 on your side of the pitch. What are you going to do, Baz?
I should have 8 cards, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine then. I've got 8 cards. I will go forward 7.
Yeah.
4 to the right. Forward 3.
Hang on, what's the right? That right. Okay.
To the right. If you're looking at the goal.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 4 to the right.
And then 3 forward.
1, 2, 3. Taking the ball back into my half, Barry. Midway through the half, it is who was your geezer? What's a weird formation you're playing? Alessandro Albino in possession. The square's E2, everybody. E2. 0-0. More to come next week. Let's put that fucker back. I'll put my cards away. Unbelievable excitement here. Ruben Amorim was all over it last night. Next game on the board. Tea time kickoff between Leeds United and Newcastle United. Leeds are 5-2 plus 250. 12-5 the draw plus 240. Newcastle have drifted on the back of Monday's fucking shit show. From they were a shade of odds on 9-10 minus 111. Newcastle are now out of 15-13 plus 115. I think this is you, Baz. Leeds Newcastle.
Yeah, I mean, heart might be ruling me head here, but I just got to this and felt Newcastle were a decent price here, was my first thought. We played well enough in the 2 opening games, just fell a little bit short, lacked a little bit of firepower, obviously. But it does represent an easier game than the other 2. Well, saying that, Villa haven't been great. Probably should have seen them off. But, and obviously one of the concerns is going to be Newcastle's injury situation. They're going to be a little bit lighter given the suspension to Gordon, injuries to Big Joe, to Tonali, Shaw, potentially. The squad's deeper now in terms of covering for that. If Shaw's out, we've got cover in Botman and Thiaw. Ramsey's there, ready to step straight in. Miley's been doing an all right job off the bench. So I think we'll be okay in those positions. Goals is a worry with a shortage of any recognised strikers. But I'm back taking us to manage fine here with, I think, Elanga and Barnes can cause a nuisance from the wide positions. I'm backing them to get on the score sheet this week. Leeds started brightly at home to Everton, but were well beaten last week against Arsenal. And I just think even a weekend Newcastle side, which, you know, have played okay, I think they'll have enough here. They'll be strong enough to beat Leeds. And at 11-10, I never really looked any further than that. So I'll take Newcastle to win at 11-10 here.
Baz, I'm absolutely on the same page as you again. I understand the drift. Eddie Howe, massive selection haddock now that Tonali, Gordon, Joe Linton are all out, as you mentioned. But I don't mind. I thought Ramsey looked quite lively the other day. Whether the big new lummox will be fit or not, I fucking get a Sula up top, man. We're playing a championship team. He's played the championship. At some point, you've got to give the kid a game. Like, the ball's going to flash across the 6-yard box, and you just need someone stand there to toe it in. He can do that. I could do that. Leeds have looked really, really rubbish. I don't entirely know how they beat Everton 1-0 because they have been, frankly, a little bit dog shit. They were very dog shit at Arsenal, and then they were poor at Sheffield Wednesday. I see poor old Sean Longstaff's been receiving quite a little bit of stick. That was kind of unavoidable. I felt bad for him. Longstaff needs a coach and needs a system and some players around him, and then he was all right. To go and be thoroughly exposed in a poor team isn't his game at all. So I think Newcastle are very capable of defending. I know we conceded 3 goals the other night, but I don't think we deserved to concede. We didn't defend badly. One was horrible. Then you were down to 10 men. So I think we're capable of defending and we're capable of nicking a goal as well. I think Elanga, Harvey Barnes, someone like that will get us a goal. So great price. There's quite a few people in the chat who think Newcastle are a good price. Joe Dollar is not one of them. Joe Dollar wants Leeds to win 3-1. Lenny's asking about Jacob Murphy. Yeah, squad player. I think he's unfortunate, frankly. He was probably overperforming slightly last year, Lenny. And we have, obviously, with Elanga, who's come in his position. And Harvey Barnes currently, and Anthony Gordon in front of him as well. But there's plenty of football left for Jacob Murphy. We saw the Champions League draw. So when that kicks off, there's going to be a little bit more movement as well. We did say we'll do a Champions League draw review, which we might do tomorrow afternoon at some point because we haven't got time to look at it tonight. Underdog Best Ball Mania. all summer long. $15 million in prizes, including $2 million to first place. No waiver wire, no arguments about trades. Best ball is the best way to play fantasy. Underdog also a great place to play Pick'em. You can win 500 times your entry. Brand new offer for new customers. Play $5, get $50 in bonus funds when you sign up with the code SGPN. And don't forget the Circa Million and the Circa Survivor. The world's greatest sportsbook is hosting the world's greatest pro football contests with over $21 million in guaranteed prizes. Sign up in Nevada. Play from anywhere with the help of SGPN's official proxy. Go to footballcontest.com. Use promo code SGP to get $50 off your proxy fees. Contests close on Saturday, the 6th of September. So get involved now. Sunday, 2 o'clock. Sunday, 2 o'clock kickoffs. The first of which being Brighton and Hove Albion taking on Manchester City. Brighton are 16-5 plus 320. It is 14-5 plus 280. The draw. Man City 4-5 minus 125. Brighton 1 point from 2 games. Will probably think they should have a couple more because they were 1-0 up very, very late on against Fulham. Couldn't get over the line. They then made chances in the first half against Everton. Couldn't get the noses in front and got picked off 2-0. A lot of people said that Brighton were the better team last week against Everton, but I'm not sure. They looked a bit lightweight to me. I thought Everton were always going to sort of outdo them. City were poor v Spurs. They floundered at the back for the majority of that game. Spurs really, really did a job on them. I'm on the fence about Brighton. I can't decide quite what to do with them. But a chance to get Man City at 4-5 to beat them is too tempting. City always get beat at home to Tottenham. I mean, always. The week before, they went and hammered Wolves, which is a fairly comparable game here to me. I think Man City at 4-5. Too tempted for me to turn down, Baz. I'll take Man City.
We really are on the same page this week. The City result and performance last week obviously brought them back to earth with a bump after a comfortable win over Wolves. I think last week certainly suggested they haven't shaken off all of last year's struggles. On a positive, Rodri came on late on, should be fit for this week. Same for Foden, though Foden feels like less of a talisman for them these days anyway. Brighton, I think, have been a bit underwhelming, though. They lost to Everton, unable to win at home against Fulham. So not a team I'm hugely confident with at this stage. So I wasn't really tempted to take on City here either. Midweek game through the week for Brighton didn't really come into me thinking at all. They absolutely battered Oxford, but it was a completely different lineup and it was Oxford, so it means nothing. Normally a fixture where I like the goals. This one, 4 head-to-heads have all went over 2.5 goals recently. But Brighton just haven't been firing, and with both of their games going under, City have only had 1 game go over as well. So I've dodged the goals as well. It wasn't my favourite pick, but I've just not been convinced by Brighton yet. So I was happy to take City to bounce back this week. So same as you, Man City to beat Brighton 4-5.
Yeah, it wasn't my favourite pick either, Baz. There's a couple of people saying that we're kind of living in the past a little bit with Manchester City and that they've been doing the same as last year. And I get it. But I think they're better than Brighton. They did go to Wolves and win 4-0. So, yeah, we'll see how that one pans out. The second 2 o'clock game on Sunday is Nottingham Forest at home to West Ham United. Forest 7-10, minus 142. The draw 5-2 plus 250. West Ham 9-2 plus 450. Baz?
Yeah, West Ham are in big trouble, and it feels like a situation with West Ham where it could spiral out of control quite quickly. Fans are getting very fed up there. Jared Bourne was fed up because he got shouted at by fans the other day. So it could all turn ugly very quickly, and I don't think this is going to be an easy one for them either. Having lost their first 2 games by a total of 8-1, following that up with a 3-2 loss to Wolves. So now 11 goals conceded in 3 games is a massive concern. Forest at home here, got to fancy their chances. Understandably favourites here. I'd have no issues sticking Forest and Miyaka at 4-6, but a little bit short for making as my main pick, looking for something slightly bigger. So for me, Forest team total was what I looked at. Forest to score 2 or more is 4-5, minus 1.8. 4-5. What's that? -125.
Yeah.
Scored 3 in their first home game, Forest. West Ham leaking goals in their 3 games so far. Nobody's failed to put 3 past them yet. Forest only need 2 here. So I'll take Forest team total over 1.5 at 4-5.
Yeah, okie dokie. I kept this really simple, Baz. I know that 7 to 10. I think that's just about our limit. We never go to -150.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to give this out. Nottingham Forest, yes, I was high on them at the start of the season. They made more good signings. Started the season well. West Ham, no. I mean, they're out of the cup after that defeated Wolves the other night. 7 to 10 is about the limit of our prices. But I'm happy to give it out. I didn't go any further. I'll take Forest at 7 to 10, -142. If that's too skinny for you outright, stick you in your rackers with something else. Next up, 4:30 kickoff between Liverpool and Arsenal. Liverpool are ever so slightly on the drift here. They are 6 to 5 +120 from 11 to 10 +110. So yeah, little drift for Liverpool. The draw is 5 to 2 +250. Arsenal are, what are Arsenal now then? They must have drifted 11 to 5 +220. Arsenal. This is no, it's not. It's me, Baz. This I found quite easy as well. I said I just stopped pretty early on the Forest game. I stopped pretty early on this one. I think the prices are way wrong here. They've got to be much closer together. If anything, this has got to be a match on the books. I don't get Liverpool being clear favourites. We've seen them 3 times now. Community Shield, if you want to count it, we're fairly average. Got away with it late on against Bournemouth in the opening game of the season. And absolutely got away with it on Monday night against Newcastle. Newcastle were the better team before the goal. Newcastle were the better team after the red card. Newcastle were the better team for the entirety of the second half. The defence, excuse me, the defence and the midfield are absolutely a concern. Canate is off his game. Virgil van Dijk, I'm not sure how he's doing. Arsenal are a much tougher proposition than anyone here. 2 wins, 2 clean sheets, and at the prices are a much more appealing proposition. Arsenal will be the clear title favourites after this game, Barry. I'll take Arsenal at 11 to 5 +220.
Yeah, this one, the peak of the weekend action, both 2 wins from 2. Though Arsenal, you'd have to say, had an easier start. They only had to play Man United and Leeds. Done everything they needed, though. Win 5-0 and 1-0, so clean sheets in both. Liverpool definitely had a tougher start, I think, with Bournemouth and Newcastle. And they haven't looked good in either. They've needed late winners in both. Continue to look vulnerable at the back, particularly when you add in that Community Shield game against Crystal Palace. They've conceded 2 goals in every game so far. If Arsenal can get 2 goals here, I can't see how they don't win the game. I think Liverpool will certainly be up against it if that's the case. So purely based on what I've seen so far this season, I think you have to favour Arsenal here. Arsenal's record in these matches recently has been decent. Arsenal fans will always make a big deal of the fact they haven't lost against a big 6 side in the last year or so. I mean, when you're including Man United and Spurs in that last year, that stat doesn't sound that great, because they did continuously get beat off Newcastle, of course. But against Liverpool, they've only lost once in the last 4. They drew 2-2 twice last year. So they've got good form in the recent history. I like goals again here as well. The recent history saw the last 4 go over 2.5 and both teams to score. 3 of the last 4 went over 3.5 between these sides. And again, Liverpool have just seen 11 goals in their 2 games so far. But I did say I favour Arsenal. I think they're a good price here as an underdog. But I'm going to take them to score 2 or more. The Arsenal team total 6 to 4 for Arsenal to score 2 or more. Everyone's done it so far against Liverpool. No reason why Arsenal can't. So yeah, more than happy with your pick of Arsenal. Yeah, but Arsenal over 1.5 team total at 6 to 4 is going to be my pick.
Majority of the chat is leaning towards Arsenal as well. Steve Gregory's given us a little same game parlay. Under 3.5 goals with Liverpool getting the most cards. Rice assist and a Saliba shot on target at 80-1 for Smudger. Smudger's not messing about there. 80-1 shots. Final game is Sunday night at 7 o'clock. What the dickens is all that about? Don't really get that. Aston Villa taking on Crystal Palace. Aston Villa have drifted here. Were 17-20. They are now 9-10, minus 111. The draw 12-5 plus 240. And Crystal Palace have shortened up from Burlington Bertie 130. They are into 3-1 Palace. Baz finishes off with a winner.
Yeah, I think the odds for this one look to have been drawn up based on the perceived strengths of each side, or, you know, as if we haven't played any football this year. This is about how you would price it up, rather than what we've seen from each of them so far. I think Villa feel too short for me here at 10-11. No goal in their 2 games. Defeat to Brentford was really poor. The manner of the draw to Newcastle was a concern. They only had an XG of 0.2 in that one. Palace, on the other hand, have had a tricky start. Chelsea and Forest, 2 difficult games, and I think they'll probably consider themselves unlucky to have only picked up 2 draws, because they've created enough chances. We're unlucky against Chelsea with the goal disallowed. They've looked better than Villa, I think, particularly if you factor in that Community Shield win. And the form going back for Palace, this isn't just, a good, decent start of the season. They've not lost a game since April. They were unbeaten in 8 at the end of last season. They're now unbeaten in 5 so far this season, when you include their European Cup games so far. So with that sort of form, Palace unbeaten in 13 competitive games. Palace double chance seems a no-brainer to me. I'm going to take Palace to win or draw on the double chance market at 5-6.
Barry, we absolutely need to start seeing other people, because I've got the same pick as you as well. I think I couldn't get away from it. It's one of those, having taken it at Chelsea, and talked it out reasonably and been successful with it, I was always going to end up in a very comparable game. But Villa just aren't anywhere near the kind of form that Chelsea are in either. Lee makes a good point in the chat that Crystal Palace did play tonight. They were away at Fredrikstad in, I believe, Norway. 0-0 tonight, went through 1-0 on aggregate. I would have laughed if they'd fucked up qualification after all that fannying about. But they did make it through into the draw. But you can't back Villa at odds on. There's something not quite right currently at Aston Villa. Very off-colour performance last week. It remains to be seen if they can put it together. 2 draws for Crystal Palace. 2 decent results. They did okay against Forest without Eze. Sarr is playing well. Remains to be seen if Gahey leaves, but Gahey played again tonight. He's just cracking on with it. We have carped on about Palace quite a lot so far, but I think they can avoid defeat here. They've shown an aptitude for doing that, an aptitude for being able to not lose football matches. So a double chance Palace. I've got them at 9-10 here, minus 111. And that, Barry, 10 games, well and truly in the hutch. What do you want to lead us off with in the exotic section, Baz?
Yeah, I'll crack on with, I'll start with my lock. I think Newcastle at 11-10 are a good pick this week. So Newcastle are going to be my lock at 11-10. My underdog's going to be Arsenal, 11-5. Scorer, I'm going to go for Harvey Barnes for Newcastle, 13-8 anytime, 11-2, first or last. And then I will chuck out my 2 hackers. You can throw yours out, and I'll finish off with my cards picks for this week. I'm going to keep persisting with those card picks because we're getting close. My Call Me Pie hacker is both teams to score treble. It's Chelsea v Fulham, it's Spurs v Bournemouth, and it's Liverpool v Arsenal. Both teams to score in those 3 comes out at 7-2 plus 350. A mistaken Stilton hacker as a treble. 3 teams at big prices. Brentford, Arsenal, and Palace, I think, are all live in their games, and a 30-1 for the treble. I mean, you could stick the doubles on as well if you wanted, but Brentford, Arsenal, Palace, I think, have all got real live chances. Brentford to beat Sunderland, Arsenal to beat Liverpool, Palace to beat Villa, comes in at 30-1. That's going to be my big long shot acca.
Well, I'll start there, Barry, with my big long shot acca, because it's Newcastle, Arsenal, and Palace. I got 2 out the same 3. I've substituted out Newcastle for Brentford. That pays 29-1, same price as yours. I also considered putting Everton in there for a 4-timer. We get that up to 84-1. Newcastle, Arsenal, Palace, and Everton is 84-1. My corned beef pie, I couldn't be more straightforward. Nottingham Forest and Manchester City, moneyline double, pays 2-1, Baz. I'm going to lock up the both teams to score an over 2.5 in the Tottenham Bournemouth game. My dog of the weekend will be Arsenal away at Liverpool. Quite fancy Everton as well, but I'm going to take Arsenal at 11-5 plus 220. Anytime goal scorer is Brennan Johnson. He's always a bit of an afterthought. I think he just gets forgotten about in that Tottenham team. And you have a look, and he's on the score sheet a lot of the time. We do fancy goals in that game, so I'll take Brennan Johnson, who is 13-2, first and last, 7-4 anytime. The slow roller, Barry. It has rolled into week 3. I don't think it ever made it into week 3 last season. We have £28.05, Barry. No, we don't. We'll have that once this is won. We've got £24.05, which we're going to turn into £28.05 by taking over 1.5 goals in Tottenham v Bournemouth. So that's the play there. And finally, I had a word with Data Dave. If you remember, our AI friend. Data Dave's currently 0-1, having given us Brighton on the opening day of the season. I had a chat with him. He's fucking very confident. Bear in mind, he gave out one loser and then a pick from some fixtures that happened 5 years ago when we asked him in the week. He's absolutely full of himself. So he's 0-1 for -1 unit. This time, I had to ask him 3 times. He gave me 2 illegal picks first. Third time he got it right, Barry. He's gone for Wolves, Everton, over 2.5 goals at 5-4, plus 125. Yeah. So Data Dave knows something we don't. He's trying to get himself ahead with that one. Wolves, Everton, over 2.5 for the AI. Barry, Cardzaka, is it?
Cardzaka. Once a game, we've got a treble, but he played as doubles and a treble. As I say, we did hit a double last week. A little unlucky not to get the treble. And the week before, we should have got a double, because how Lukic didn't get booked for Leeds on week 1 is beyond me. Not Leeds. It was Fulham, wasn't it? Anyway, the picks this week are Ugo Chukwu for Burnley at 3-1. Cunha and Mbeumo have drawn a lot of fouls so far this season, and Burnley's is going to pick up a few cards, I think, against Man United. So yeah, Ugo Chukwu 3-1. Konate will get ran ragged by Arsenal and make a silly foul. 11-5. Konate gets booked, and the finisher is Will Hughes for Palace, 12-5. So that's Ugo Chukwu for Burnley, Konate for Liverpool, Will Hughes for Palace. Comes in at 43-1 for the treble. Take the doubles. You'll get at least 8-1, 9-1 for a double if we can get 2 of those in. But that'll be the cards treble for this week.
We've got a few player props in the chat. Steve Gregory's given us Sarr, shot on target at even money. Michael Roberts, spam and egg treble is Everton, Newcastle, and Manchester City at round about 9.5-1. And Serial wants a Yorkeresh. What do you call him? Yorkeresh. Anytime goal scorer at 2-1 for Serial. So yeah, loads of stuff going on. Top F of that, Barry. 59 minutes and 40 seconds. We've got 20 seconds to spare. No, not much time for lifestyle here, but have you got anything you want to tell us, Baz?
Nothing I can think of off the top of my head, but we're back with another show probably tomorrow, so we can squeeze it in.
Yeah, so do things. I did say last week, Barry, I was going to mention my new
game. There is some breaking news just come up on my phone at this point.
Yeah.
Kobbie Mainoo has informed Man United of his desire for a move to play regular first-team football. Okay. Remember when he was going to be the next big thing? He
fucking started in the Euro final, didn't he?
Yeah. Him and John are going to be absolute stars. And now they're going to loan him out somewhere and then sell him for about 30 or 40 million next year.
Yeah, absolutely
crazy. Take him at the tune.
Alexander Isak's on the telly at the top of the hour as well, so I've just paused it because I don't know if we've got anything actually real to say about that. No, I did say on Sunday that I would. I've got a new little job that I was going to tell everybody about because I hadn't started it yet. Well, I have started it now by accident because I got an emergency call on Tuesday and then we're a day late. So I got a little commentator's job somehow. Some people have decided I am eligible and capable to do these full 90-minute commentaries. So if you use a score app on your phone, if you've got FootMob or Sporty or Live Score, or some of the betting sites as well, if you ever watch the games and they've got full 90-minute audio commentary on there, and it's clearly just a bloke sitting in the house watching the telly. And that's me. I'm the bloke sitting in the house watching the telly. So I did Brentford v Bournemouth in the Cup on Tuesday night. Commentary on that one. Tonight I did FCSB against Aberdeen in the Europa League. Sat and watched BBC Scotland. Saturday afternoon, I've got Alaves against Atletico Madrid. Before I've got Kazakhstan in the international break. And then I've got my first Premier League game. I've got Everton v Villa on the 13th of September. So fun and games. If you want to, I'm sure you all really want to listen to me saying more stuff about football.
Yeah, listen, download FOTMob. I've got FOTMob anyway. I use it for score updates and stats and things. I had a little tune in for 2 minutes tonight. Listen to FCSB against Aberdeen. I thought you'd done all right.
Thank you very much, Barry. To be honest with you, the Romanians didn't make it easy for me.
I'm just pleased you managed to catch the flight and get back in time. You know, it was good work.
Yeah, I know. I didn't know how much to lean into the fact that I was in Bucharest. Like, I stopped just short of saying I'd been for lard and dumplings for me tea. But I don't know. I did. You might have caught me. I did say I'd been and seen a lot of things in Bucharest and talked to the locals and how much my taxi ride from the airport was and all that shit. But I did make it back in time. So there you go. So yeah, there you go. That's something. And it just means I can sit in the house and watch more football, which the family are absolutely delighted about. So champion, right? Well done, Baz. That was good. I enjoyed it. We'll do a little Champions League draw reaction show tomorrow. Before Sunday night, we'll be back with a Premier League reaction show, and we'll see what's going on. I think we're going to the international break, so we always enjoy the international breaks. We might even have 2 games of 2 goals each at kick-off, Baz. We'll have so little to talk about in the international break. Thank you, everybody who joined us. The chat was absolutely buzzing tonight. Loads of good information in there. Thank you, Barry. Enjoyed it a lot. Good luck with your picks this weekend. Enjoy the football, and we will see you all down the road. Cheers.